the NWF Champion Ace.
Pitts has called the match. For some strange reason, he's giving the victory to Kid Kelsey.
Mr. X declared the new champion.
We have a new champion, Mr. X.
He's won the title match. Get it back. Bring them down. Crossen, your new champion.
Oh. Yeah, there. I can't get this thing switched.
Breaking up.
There we go. We are live.
Oh,
I'm not in my normal 5-time championship studio, everybody. Crossen here. I'm on location because I'm a busy beaver. And we are live with Wrestling Revolution Keaton. Sorry for the delay, everybody. It just took us a while. We had some bugs to iron out, and we had to get some things situated. Sometimes we have technicality problems, and that's what was going on here. And we got it all worked out. I can't stay for the whole interview with CHRIS MERCER, but I'm going to be with as much as I can. And, of course, I'm joined by the other half of the show, Wrestling Revolution Keaton, and we are live. And I believe we're live on both channels. And NWF Wrestling and Wrestling Revolution Keaton. And Keaton, you know something? I got to bring something up here. Now, on last NWF4, which I know you've seen bits and pieces, Canary and I got in a bit of a debate when we were talking about his match that just took place at Malone Rugby Club. He said there was somebody in the crowd that sounded an awful lot like Keaton after he did his drop kick that said, better than Crushers. But I heard it too, and I heard almost as good as Crushers. So which was it, Keaton?
I said better than Crushers.
No.
No.
You make a public apology right now, and you make a correction. You meant to say almost as good as Crusher. Am I right? Almost as good.
I know what I meant to say. You're right. I said the wrong thing. I meant to say miles better than Crushers.
I just cannot believe my ears here. You know it, and I know it. It's almost as good, just not quite as good. But I just had to clarify that because Ricky and I got in a little bit of a debate on forward. You know, he has a big mouth and he can't shut it up sometimes, and he was just quacking away. So I just had to clarify that. So now we have a great guest coming on. We've had him on before, Keaton, CHRIS MERCER. Mm-hmm. Oh, by the way, just a touch on that Canary Kid versus Ben Nelson match. There is, I don't know if you heard, Keaton, it's going to be a best of 3 series they're doing.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yep, coming up at the dojo, they're going to have their first match. Then they're going to have a second match at the next Malone Rugby Club show in May 4th, I think. And then, of course, it'll end with the one that I come out to. So it'll be kind of fun. So we'll see what happens there. But anyways, CHRIS MERCER has been with us before, right? One of the founding, kind of one of the pillars of the league, really, don't you think, in NIPW? Yeah. And he's got a big event coming up that we're going to talk about that he's been kind of more or less heading up, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's coming up here. It's kind of a benefit of sorts, right? I don't know all the details, but we'll find out. And so I say let's get our guest in here and get the show on the road. Keaton's in the driver's seat, everybody, because I can see the comments, though. I can see that. Come in. There we go. CHRIS MERCER, welcome in. Are you there, Chris?
Hello?
Can't really hear.
Yep, we hear you.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Thanks very much for having me tonight.
Yeah, very good. And Chris, you might want to lower your volume just a little bit. We're getting a little bit of double feedback. So if you just your speaker volume, if you just bring it down just a tad.
All right.
Yeah, it'll do that. If we just get it if it's too loud, it kind of picks up and doubles back. There. All right. I'm doing the same just in case it's me. There. All right, Keaton. So, like I was saying, we got this benefit coming up. Chris? Do you want to kind of give us kind of a summary of what's going to come up here?
Yeah. So, what's coming up is on June the 7th. In the Green Island Knocker Lodge, there's going to be a massive charity wrestling show, which hopes to be, well, it looks to be actually a sellout, and it is going to raise money for a local cause called the Northern Ireland Hospice. So all the profits, all the proceeds, every single penny goes to the Northern Ireland Hospice. And the aim of the event is to not only raise money for a great community cause, but also showcase the biggest, the brightest of local wrestling talent. So there'll be loads to see, loads to get involved in, and loads to experience. So I think it is going to be the start of something very special in Northern Ireland, and sort of really in this area, the first of its kind, really. In that regard, so yeah, very exciting times ahead, and very very close to the event. So yeah, very much looking forward to it.
And Chris, what is your role in all of this?
So my role would, I suppose, whatever way you want to call it, it's just me spearheading this thing. So, director, person organizing, event manager, human resources lady, all of the above, I suppose. So
you're wearing all the hats.
All the hats, yeah. So,
Yeah.
when I was on last time, I spoke briefly. My background was in events management. That's what I did my first degree in. And events was always something that I was very, very passionate about. Just the idea of bringing people together to celebrate in whatever sort of art, culture, entertainment, but also an opportunity then I like the charity element too, using that sort of positive vibe to generate positive impact in the local community. So recently back in December time, I started to write down I got a wee notebook and started to write down some of the goals that I wanted to achieve in 2025. And I've always wanted to just be able to take off and say, I promoted a wrestling show. So I kind of looked at, I have these skills that I've kind of left in the background. I have a massive passion for wrestling. I may not have as much time as what I did last year to dedicate to wrestling in terms of on a frequent basis, so this was an opportunity to dip my toe continuously in the water, but also to raise money for a great cause, and also to continue to promote the wonderful art of professional wrestling at the same time. It also falls on the weekend of my birthday, so I thought to myself this year, what did I want to do for my birthday? And that was kind of the one thing I wanted to do, which was to raise money for the Northern Ireland Hospice. So that's kind of what I'm spending my weekend doing this year.
So, and what is the date again of this event?
Saturday the 7th of June.
June 7th. And Keaton, do we have a graphic at all? Like, can you give us the details or anything? Do we have anything?
No, I don't have it.
No, we don't. Okay, so I didn't know I thought we had some graphics, but so it's going to be June 7th, and where's it going to be, Chris?
So it'll be in the Green Island Knocker Lodge, which is actually my hometown. The Green Island Knocker Lodge was known for a number of years as sort of one of the sort of local staple venues for conferences, weddings, all that sort of stuff. So it has changed purposes over the years, but the current owners of the venue would like to see it being used for private events on weekends. And I just thought, that would be a perfect way to kind of or a perfect place, to kind of celebrate that particular type of event, because I spent a lot of my years growing up in that location. Green Island hasn't really seen a wrestling show of this stature before, and the opportunity to bring that to my hometown was such a special thing for me to do. And as I say, there's some very special wrestlers which are going to be up here that also are from that hometown area, which so it's very fitting that it takes place in the Green Island Knuckle Lodge.
And whereabouts from Belfast? What direction are we?
Yeah, so it's about just outside Carrickfergus, so about 15-20 minutes outside Belfast.
Okay. Is that to the north then?
To the north, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so and what's the bell time on this?
So the bell time, doors open at 6 p.m. and the first bell will be 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah.
All right. And then a couple comments here. I think I'm going to try this, Keaton. I don't know if I can do it.
If not, I can do it.
I think I was able to do it. I just don't normally do my phone here, guys. I'm not in my 5-time championship studio, so it's mercy of the cell phone. But this one says, great to see the most entertaining wrestler in Northern Ireland in the studio today. So that's a shout out for you, Chris. And then we got one here. That's from Darren, of course, Keaton's dad. And then Darren says, Crusher, you will be in Northern Ireland. Would you like to join us supporting this great event? I believe you said June 7th. Unfortunately, I won't be in Ireland at that time. I think I leave 2 days after the 1st. So what would it be, like June 3rd, I think? So it sounds like this is the following weekend from the Malone
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
If I could, I would. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard. It's really hard for me to take time off in my line of work, and so it's like I'm taking a week off right now, and then that's why I'm in this. That's why I'm not in my studio. I'm in between jobs right now. I got to do as many jobs as I can since I'm going to be taking a week off coming out there. And then Keaton, I just got one more comment, and then I'll let you get some questions here. This one is just the More Army YouTube channel. Hey guys, and it's great to see you joining us here. We are talking to CHRIS MERCER. He is one of the founding wrestlers of the NIPW, I would say. And I remember seeing stuff with him and John and Ricky when John and Ricky were young.
Yeah.
So,
Well, just fun fact, I stapled the so whenever it used to be John the Kid McCann, I made sure to make John the Man McCann after he wrestled me. So I proudly say that I made a man out of John McCann.
Yeah, and that, like I said, I just remember the early stuff from the early days when I was watching on Keaton's channel, and you were definitely part of it. So, and then I guess there's one more, Keaton, I'll bring in, and then I'll let you cut loose. Mighty Molly. Keaton, do you want to read it? Because I can't read this one. I'm on my phone. It's too hard to see.
The Knuckle Lodge used to be a fabulous Sunday carvery, and Keaton used to leave it very messy with ice cream all over him as a toddler.
Yeah, that sounds like Keaton. Messy. Yep, I agree with that comment, Molly.
Well, that would be me at a restaurant nowadays anyway, Keaton. So I wouldn't worry.
I'm gonna also add mouthy because he's been real mouthy with me lately, saying that Canary's better at drop kicking. That's yet to be determined. So let's get rid of that then, Keaton. And I'm sure you got some questions because I've been yapping away. So what do you got, Keaton?
Yeah, so what you were saying there, Chris, was you're a very big part of this, doing loads of the jobs. Who actually first came up with the idea?
So all the name and everything that was kind of just I was kind of throwing around different ideas of what sort of, because when you start with an event you have to go, well, what the first thing you got to think of is what's the snappy title to get people drawn in, and something that first of all the idea came actually about I used to do as I say I did event management when I did an event management degree, and then I actually worked done casual events jobs. And my first paid event job was, I don't know if you ever remember, Keaton, you might have been too young at the time, but Belfast Culture Night. And Belfast Culture Night started off very small, but then became something that kind of was like a staple event in Belfast, to the point where whenever I worked on it, I think that year it generated 120,000 visitors to Belfast. So that was kind of I'm not saying that, maybe one day wrestling in Northern Ireland could generate that amount of numbers, but the idea was I would love if there was a staple event on the wrestling calendar in Ireland, in which people came together and raised money for a good cause. So that was my first idea. And then I thought, well, if you're doing that, you need to have a snappy name that every year people go, okay, what's this event? Where's it going to be? What's going to be happening on it? And look forward to it. So that's where kind of the name Charity Slam came from. I just thought it was quite a snappy wee title. So sort of the idea came from just me sitting and doodling. To be honest, nothing too exciting. Just me sitting with a pen and paper, and just doodling some ideas and
Well,
things like that.
that's how you do it. I mean, you got to come up with it somehow. And so, how have you been promoting this? How have you been getting the word out? Like, how
I
you've been
think
advertising it?
Well, primarily at the moment, social media has been the main thing. There will be posters and things like that. I think that another way you promote successfully an event is through your relationships. And thankfully, I have very positive relationships within the wrestling industry. So a lot of the names that are appearing on the show, pretty much all the names that are appearing on the show, have, just out of goodwill said, you know what, I want to be a part of this. It's a great cause and it's something that I really want to put my name to. So that has also generated a good bit of interest that way. And as we move on, so the good promotional materials that look quite professional and things like that usually generate a lot more interest because people take it a wee bit more seriously. So I think good promotional materials have been good for us to boost kind of the interest in the charity slam. So yeah, that would kind of be through good relationships and then the powerful use of social media. Has been sort of the main draw. But again, on the ground, we will have like the likes of a raffle and things. We will be in local businesses getting sponsorship opportunities and stuff like that. So those sort of things will help us generate more interest in the show as well.
Well, speaking of sponsorships, I know back in the day when we would do wrestling events, especially charity ones, when we would do our posters up, we would get businesses to sponsor by getting either their business card or whatever along the edges of the poster. Is that
Yeah.
do you do that kind of thing still these days,
Um,
or?
yeah, well, I think I've kind of been toying with the ideas of what to do. I think that the way in which our social medias have been a thing at the moment, we've been doing a lot of promotional around just sort of who's going to be appearing in the show and stuff like that. So I think that model will kind of be replicated for when we announce sort of who is sponsoring the event. So whenever we get those sponsorships in place, then we'll announce them on our social media the same way we've been doing with our roster announcements as well.
Because it's much easier to get sponsors when it's a fundraiser. Although you can still get sponsors at any time, but
Yeah.
it's just easier when it's a fundraiser because people are more willing to want to be a part of it and help, because it's going for a good cause.
Yeah. No, definitely. I think, and I think that's where it's important as well to choose, to be strategic in the sort of the partnerships that you strike up as well. I mean, the Northern Ireland Hospice is an incredible community cause. It has helped thousands of households across Northern Ireland, and supported numerous amounts of families. In sort of their darkest days and things. So, it's very well known, has a very good profile. It's very well respected. People know that if the Northern Ireland Hospice puts their name to something, then it is definitely worth supporting. I've been very thankful that I've been able to strike up a relationship in which the Northern Ireland Hospice has wanted to partner for this event. So yeah, a good partner is always very good as well. In generating opportunities. Some of the sponsors that we're going to be getting, I don't think we would have got unless we would have had an organization like the hospice on board.
Sure.
Yeah, and there's a lot of charities you could have picked. So why was it the Northern Ireland Hospice?
I think I chose the Northern Ireland Hospice because of the reach in which and the type of theme in which the organisation is involved in. So the Northern Ireland Hospice will be involved in supporting families through palliative care and different stages of sort of end of life and things. And especially, the Northern Ireland Hospice also have their own branch, the Children's Hospice, in which we were very fortunate through NIPW to go and support a family that was that was going through palliative care. So it was something that's kind of stuck in my heart ever since that and has always been sort of in the back burner. Also, a lot of my family and my partner's family, specifically my partner's family, it's very close to their hearts, and it's very close to a number of other people that I speak to's hearts. So it was just something that kind of was a no-brainer. Whenever I thought of what organization to raise the money for, I couldn't think of a better cause to raise the money for. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And whenever they're, as you said, wherever they raise their name to, it's going to be a big event, for the Northern Ireland Hospice. A lot of the wrestlers are just doing it for pure kindness to raise for charity,
Mm-hmm.
and there will be a lot of loud pops that night as well. Stevie Fee,
Mm-hmm.
proud Green Island man. They introduced him as from the mighty G Town.
Yeah.
Then there's Tucker as well, one of the
Yeah.
greatest Northern Irish wrestlers ever. How did you
Yeah.
get these kind of guys on?
Yeah. So I think, first and foremost, I think I really wanted to highlight on this show that it is the kindness of all the participants that is probably just so special. Everyone that I've spoke to that's going to be involved in this event instantly said yes, they'll do it. There wasn't any hemming or hawing. They were on board. They were ready to go, and they knew that it is going to be something special. So it is something that's special to their hearts. But I think there's also an awareness that this is something that really hasn't been done specifically in this sort of area before. So there's something special. I think everyone in wrestling always wants to be part of that, that bit, part of history, that's special and sort of something that's new, fresh, exciting. And this definitely seems like it's going to be something that's going to be talked about for years to come. It's going to be a good memory within the history books of Northern Irish Pro Wrestling. So definitely, I think there was an element of straight away, it's a great cause, let's be on board, but also an excitement that this is something different, and this is something that's quite fresh. And of course, people want to be a part of that profile. So the likes of just
I was going to say we got a few comments here too coming in. Let's see. I guess the Crusher wannabe here, Canary Kid himself. He says this. Hey, Chris, you are my hero. So I just want to get that in. And also, here's one. L.A. Robinson says, Keaton, can you read it for me?
Yeah. Ian said to say that he's buzzing for it and honored to be part of it anyway.
Yeah, so he must be somebody affiliated with this event as well.
Mm-hmm. Soon to be announced. Yep.
So, all right. That's
But
all the comments so far.
I just wanted to go back. So you were saying, Keaton, in regards to how to get Stevie and Tucker. So Stevie, I mean, hometown hero. I am born and bred in Green Island, and so is Stevie. He was one of the first people that I reached out to, and he was absolutely, he feels the same way about Green Island as I do. So straight away, he, regardless of what role he's going to have in the show, he went, you know what, I really want to get on board with this. I think he, as I say, he recognized just as much as I do that Green Island deserves this type of event. And it's the first of its kind in this area, which is, it's amazing. I mean, we both grew up like back in the day wrestling on the trampoline. That's sort of the where we started out. Just that just jumping about on a trampoline, thinking that we were the Rock and So Cold. So to go then and 2025 being putting on a massive wrestling event is and being part of that is probably something. I can't speak for Stevie, obviously, but I can imagine that he's probably very much looking forward to this type of event. And then Tucker, I mean, whenever I thought about, again, regardless of if it's a charity event or a private event, a business event, you got to sell tickets and you got to raise the profile of the event. If this event is to survive and to grow and to become a staple in Irish wrestling, then it needs to have big names. It needs to have people that are going to sell tickets and that are going to raise the profile of the brand itself. So again, immediately I thought to myself, do you know what, Tucker is one of those people. I mean, you said earlier about like finding pillars. I think Patrick, about NIPW, but in terms of Irish wrestling, Tucker for well over a decade has been a pillar of professional wrestling in the island of Ireland. So for me, it was a no brainer that we need to have someone like that that really brings credibility to this type of show, and that's why I reached out, and Tucker was immediately on board. We have a pretty good relationship, I would say, and he's a very sincere and genuine person. So I couldn't think of anyone better to be headlining this type of show.
And do we know, Chris, any matches yet? Has that been penciled in yet, or nothing yet?
No matches as of yet. Card firmly to the chest at the moment. We are going to do an exclusive roster announcement tonight, but again, all these things are yet to come. We have a bit of a schedule of sort of how I want to present, and the Charity Slam and I is going to be putting out some big announcements over the next couple of weeks. But I can say for sure that we have lots of things in store, and I'm sure a lot of incredible moments will be made on the evening.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm sure we're filled for surprises with this. No better person to be promoted than the entertainer of Northern Irish Wrestling, CHRIS MERCER. So we should be expecting a lot of surprises. But will we see CHRIS MERCER on this show?
I don't know, Keaton. Again,
Well, Chris, before you even answer that question, just remember, when I was doing the NWF, I was you. I had all the hats, and I still wrestled. So I will be disappointed if I don't hear about Chris being on the show.
Well, it's been a wee bit of time since I suppose the entertainers been showing up on the Irish wrestling scene. So again, it is my hometown. I will be there on the evening. So who knows? Who knows?
When you were promoting it, was it hard to promote? To pick up the pace, like for people to notice and see that there is Charity Slam being announced?
Yeah. It's I mean, it's quite stressful organizing events. It will be something that I think will be probably one of the coolest things I've ever done. But also, it is because it is quite stressful and it is quite challenging because, as I say, you have so many other things that are going on. You have your own personal life. At the moment, I'm doing a social work degree, so I'm currently on placement. That's full time. I work part time as well. So you're trying to balance a lot of things, and also, you put your reputation on the line. So people, whenever I'm talking to them, they're expecting a certain level of professionalism. They're expecting a certain level of success with this type of event, and you are really putting your money where your mouth is. I mean, this is started from a budget of zero, so you're really relying on a lot of generosity. You're really relying on a lot of good faith and goodwill. Thankfully, I have received so much of that. I mean, there has been, I wouldn't even start to make a list of the countless bits of generosity that I've experienced so far, and the people that have supported and got on board, that this event couldn't have been made possible without the positive relationships out there and people willing to get on board with this sort of thing, from sorting out ring hire to sorting out getting a van together, how we're going to do production, all those sorts of things, and that's before you even get to the event. All the planning and thing, it is very challenging to get things right, and it's very hard to get things right, but it's very easy to get things wrong. Things can change in a drop of a hat. But at the moment, we've got good momentum. There's a lot of eyes on it, and a lot of people that are interested and excited and wanting to be part of it too, which has been really, really cool. I've never been on that side of the fence in which people are asking, can they be part of something, and you having to make the decision whether or not to have them on the show that evening, that night. That aspect of a promoter it's quite a challenging part. I don't know if I could do that full time, because it requires a lot. But
you got to start making decisions that might you don't want to, there's feelings involved. They want to be a part of it, and then you say you
Yeah.
can't, you don't have enough room, or we have too many, or yeah,
Yeah.
that's all part of the. And the other thing you didn't mention is all the legwork, all the hard work that you yourself are. Because I know, I know what you're going through. I know when you're setting up an event like this, and there's just a lot of legwork and a lot of elbow grease that has to go behind the scenes to make all this work. And
Yeah.
that's the part that nobody sees. That's the part that you do that the fans don't necessarily see it. But, in the end result, they see the show, but they don't know what it took to lead up to that. And it's a lot of work.
But it'll all be worth it, because at the end of the day, what keeps everyone going is the fact that the performances from start to finish will be dedicated towards raising money for a fantastic cause. And at the end of the day, even if we can raise £100 for the Northern Ireland Hospice, that's £100 more than they had the day before, and that's £100 that can go towards supporting families that are vulnerable and that require and need support in the community. And I couldn't think of anything that I would want to spend my evening doing.
Yeah, that's it. Hospice is something that every society has, and there comes a time that everybody sometimes has to experience where they need the use of a good hospice facility, because it's so it's definitely a good cause, and I think you got a pretty good charity that you're raising money for here.
Yeah, and when you're promoting it, as you were saying, they're high stressful it is to promote everything. Would you say what would you say is the most stressful thing about promoting?
Um, I think finance is probably always the hardest part, and then also trying to, as I say, this this has been started on a budget of zero, so I mean all of the promotion materials have to be designed and done. All of it has to be done in house, as we say. So again, I don't have a design background, so I think that was one of the things I just had to kind of learn myself overnight, how to design posters and how to design graphics and how to design things like that. So that was quite challenging.
What program were you using for that? Just out of curiosity.
Software I use is Canva.
Canva, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Good
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
So it's quite easy to learn. As I say, it took me a couple of days to kind of get through it and stuff. So
I've used it. I know it's good. It'll do the job. Yeah.
So yeah, I think just and also as well, there's so many moving parts. So there is an element where you do have to rely on others. So I think you need to have no man is an island, and you need to have good support networks. As I say, Charity Slam was started through an individual idea, but it's a collective of people that are making this happen. Yes, okay, I suppose I'm making the decisions, but the people that have been involved behind the scenes. I mean, for example, NIPW has supported us with providing the ring on the day. That's an example of just sort of without that, the event wouldn't go ahead. So that generosity has been outstanding. And there is countless other other examples that I could give you in regards to people generously giving up their time to, for example, production. Um, Providing production on the day. The likes of our resident production person, Mitch. He's going to come along and he's going to do production on the day and stuff like that. Again, very challenging role, and someone who's willing to give up their time to do that for us, which has been, something that I couldn't do. So again, that's an element. No matter the best will in the world, without a person like that, I wouldn't be able to deliver this type of event. So good relationships, strong support networks, people that you can rely on that are trustworthy, worth their weight in gold. To be honest.
Well, that's a good thing. When you mention all that, like with me, when I would do a big event, I could try to be the one man show and do everything, but having good people you can rely on, kind of an inner core that you can then have them helping you do things, especially the day of the event. Like you have somebody taking care of this, somebody taking care of that, because you're gonna have enough going on. And so to have a team like that you can kind of lean on a little bit is really critical to be able to make it work good. there's guys that try to do it all the way to the end, and they just stretch themselves thin. And
Yeah.
you're going to get a much better show if you have a team of people like that you can, like you just said, that you can rely on.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, this is like, even though I suppose, I'm making decisions back, this has nothing to do with me. Like, this organization isn't anything to do, it's not about me, in any way, shape, or form. It's about raising money for a cause. So it's about, being able to do that. And without that, I, in the grand scheme of things, do very little compared to without the guys that are really willing on, deliver a performance on the evening, help with the ring, help with the van, help with X amount of different things. Without those people, the event just wouldn't happen. So it's everyone else that is really making this thing a success. I'm just clicking a button in the background and putting up, creating a couple of posters and things like that. But it's the guys, and that's why I'm very focused on the main thing on the evening is to showcase the talent, the local guys, and give them as much time as they possibly can to be able to showcase what they can bring. Because the people that I've met in the wrestling scene, they're some of the best people out there, and they deserve an event like this to be able to showcase their talent. So I'm very much looking forward to being able to be in a position for the first time ever that I can be the person to provide that opportunity. But it's them that are going to make it a success. It's not going to be me.
Okay, well, listen, Keaton, I told you I couldn't stay the whole time, you guys. I'm gonna have to kind of cut loose here right now. I gotta get on to my next job, but I didn't want to just blow it off. I wanted to at least come in here and make and just say hi to Chris and just show my support from over here in America for what you're doing. I think it's great, and
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say as well.
I'm really looking forward to meeting you too when I get out there at the end of May. I know we're talking about maybe trying to get out to dinner one of those nights, and hopefully you can join us. And then it would be great to meet you in person. So I'm looking forward to that when I come out. And the end of May, beginning of June.
That's what I was literally going to say. I was like, I'll be looking forward for you to getting over and actually finally meet you in person. This is twice now. I met you over the digital world, but it'll be great actually to see you in person. And also, that special moment that NIPW gets to hold in regards to celebrating the legacy of your brand, and two guys that are the next, the future of Irish wrestling, Canary and Ben. That'll be something really, really special. So I'm looking forward to that very much.
As much of a thorn in the side as he is for me on forward, the reality is Canary Kid's a very talented young man, and I think that he and Ben are going to have a great match, and I'm really looking forward to that. And I get to referee it, which is really fun, to be able to step back in the ring again and also do a little bit of a seminar with the kids. It'll be fun. With the junior trainers there. So then at least I can toss Ricky around a little bit. But like I said, my days are done. I mean, I'll have fun, but doing a little bit here and there off camera. But this is for their era. This is the NWF belt is being rebranded over there in Ireland for them guys, for the young guys starting out in the business, and not necessarily young, just guys starting out in the business. That was what that belt was all about. So looking forward to that. And I Chris, I really wish you luck on this event. I know it's a lot of work. I know you're going through a lot. I can only imagine the stress level, So, and I'm sure you're, you're doing your best, and I'm sure the event's going to come off, spectacular. So I really look forward to seeing how it turns out. And like we said, meeting each other here in another 50 days or so.
Yeah, not long.
Yeah. Yeah, so all right, Keaton. Well, Keaton, it's all you now, buddy. I am out. So have a good rest of the show, and I will catch you the next time we're live, Keaton.
Okay, bye.
Talk soon. Bye.
We'll see you guys.
Well, Chris, so I've heard you say there that you were obviously excited to wanting to promote a wrestling show. Is it something that you've always wanted to do, or was it just like you woke up and thought, I want to promote a wrestling show?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever it's not like I really want to own my own wrestling promotion as per se anything, but I think when I was sitting down to write the goals for the year, I thought to myself, you know what, I still have such a passion for wrestling, although I can't do it as much as I would like. but if there, ask myself a question, is there a way in which, you can kind of contribute to wrestling in a positive way, while also using your skill set? So, I have a background in event management. I have an understanding of wrestling, and wrestling events. So I thought to myself, you know what? To be able to say that I've done it in my own hometown, and also maybe created something special that might go on beyond 2025, and might be my way of contributing to wrestling in Ireland. Um, why not? So it wasn't necessarily like I've always wanted to be a promoter. I think that, I mean, there's incredible promoters out there, very experienced promoters, and it wouldn't be something that I would really want to kind of, because again, when you start stepping into as a promoter, as per se, then it becomes a business, and when it comes to business can be quite cutthroat, challenging, competitive. I don't really have the time, the want, or the need to do that. I have other pursuits that I want to explore, but if I can use my talents to raise money for good causes, then I'll do that. And then that's where the sort of the charity slam idea came from.
Yeah, 100%. And even just you promoting one wrestling show could do so much just for that hospice.
Mm.
And I'm sure that a lot of, as you said, there are a lot of the wrestlers were like, they want to do this out of their own kindness. And also they can be on a wrestling show as well. And
Mm.
was there never any problems with trying to get people on?
I am 100% in regards to everyone I've reached out to has said yes, which is, I've been very fortunate. I think it's a mixture of, I have thankful that I have so many good positive relationships in the wrestling industry. And also as well, I think it's something that's exciting and it's new, and the title's quite snappy, and it's an opportunity to raise, there's a lot of like-minded people in the wrestling business, and it's an opportunity to raise money for a good cause. So I think, the hospice hits the hearts of a lot of people. And it's one of those organizations that is threaded through a lot of families in the community. So I don't think it was very hard to, entice people in to being a part of it. But yeah, very thankful. Pardon me.
And we have a good comment coming in here from Wrestling Insider who asks, will you only have local wrestlers?
Um, at the moment, yes, 2025, Charity Slam 2025 will be all about local wrestlers. I think that's the thing that's going to be, if it's something that is a success, and if it is something that we continue to move with, in the coming years, it will be local wrestler based, because not only is it about raising money for good community causes, but it's also about raising the profile of very deserving wrestlers within the Irish wrestling scene. So my focus definitely will be locals, very first and foremost. However, as the profile starts to build, we will start to look at bigger venues, and we start to look at um, that's sort of the way the event business goes. I mean, as the event becomes more popular and the profile starts to rise, so does the interest, and so does the requirement to raise that profile even further. So this year, local wrestlers have built Charity Slam and will continue to build Charity Slam, but there might be in the future other wrestlers that we bring in to support and enhance that profile, which is very exciting. So you don't know who may turn up and who might bring the slam.
Yeah, and it could be anyone. If you're able to get Tucker on, who's a former WWE and NXT UK superstar, just imagine who you could get on.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people will want to do this out of their kindness, because you realize it's been supported by the hospice. And I think what you're doing is so good, because a lot of the charity stuff that local businesses are supporting is kind of like with football matches, the charity matches are supporting, and the hospice and stuff. But I think it's so cool that finally wrestling show in Northern Ireland is being supported by charity.
Yeah, definitely. I think that one of the biggest challenges about these sorts of events is trying to, all the money, all the profits need to go to charity. So the budget is pretty much zero at this point. But as I say, as the profile rises and it grows, that's the thing with bringing people from outside the local area. There is a lot of finance that goes with that, a lot of costs that go with that. So that can only be, achieved by the profile rising and raising and getting better. So, we need to have successes to be, and as well, wrestlers aren't going to want to come in from outside unless it's got a proven track record of being successful. So, you start off small and you start off successful. And you build your brand and you build your profile, and as your profile raises, more and more people want to be involved in it, and with that, we get more interest generated and more talent that come our way. But I'm proud that it has been all local talent, which is being the ones that are going to build this, because the priority will be building, and giving back to the local talent that want to be involved in this, a showcase and highlighting, because there's so many. Yes, it's great to have people coming in from outside the island, but at the same time, like, this island has so much talent in regards to wrestling. It's very much at the forefront at the moment of being sort of the standard bearer at times for professional wrestling. So, at the moment, we don't need to even look outside of the local area, because there is so much talent. There's a plethora of talent that are wanting to be involved and also should be showcased. So I'm happy and content with the sort of the roster that we've built up so far.
Yeah, and I think that's what's good about it. It's mostly Northern Irish people, because in a lot of the other places, a lot of the other wrestling shows, you would see, not even just in Northern Ireland, but other places, just them coming in from different places. So I think it's very cool that you're building this locally, with the hospice and with other places, as a Northern Ireland charity and Northern Ireland fundraising. Now the Foil Rumble, who raise money, I know you were involved in that. They would do it yearly. Would you say this would be something you want to do yearly, or would it be too much stress?
Well, I can't confirm nor deny that at the moment. I think that for those that are going to be lucky to get a ticket on the evening, we'll be able to find out that answer definitively on the evening. But to be honest, at the moment, I'm just focused on making sure that this is a success. Sometimes I do get a habit of getting ahead of myself with things and looking 4 or 5 years down the line with things, or this could be this, but actually there's 25 steps that I need to take before I get to that point, and the brain kind of runs wild. So at the moment, I just need to take it, day by day. At the moment, we're building a lot of momentum. It's looking to be probably very much so a sellout event. It's very exciting at the moment, and it seems to be it's going to be a success. But that might change tomorrow. It might change in the next hour. Who knows? But at the moment, we're building good momentum. It's exciting, and there's a lot to look forward to. But I can't get ahead of myself either. We need to make sure that this is a success, and all the bells and whistles are put in check to make sure that it is going to be a success.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just going to bring in some of our comments here from the viewers. My dad, Darmite said, asks, will there be an option of a paid live stream if it's sold out?
I think at the moment I haven't really explored that. See, I'm not ruling it out, but I think that it is something that it creates more challenges. At the moment, I need less challenges, to be honest, Keaton. It creates more challenge, because then you have to make sure that your technology is really up to scratch, and it's another element that can go wrong. So at the moment, it hasn't been something that has been explored. But if the event sells out, there's a variety of options I suppose you can look at. But at the moment, if we can get a sellout, I'm happy. But it might be something we can look at, and maybe not this year. But if it is a success and it is something we decide to go ahead with in the future, then it is something that could be an option.
And then Mary Molly asks, I don't know if you know what she means here. She says, will Miss Olivia be making an appearance?
Will Miss Olivia be making an appearance? I think this is probably down to my partner is called Olivia, and I keep joking with her that I'm going to make her my manager. So I don't know if I have willed her and convinced her that wrestling needs another professional wrestling manager. So I doubt it at this point. I think you would need I think our booking fee would be very, 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 very high.
Yeah, and that'd be so cool to see. Like the Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. You don't really need to be a great man in wrestling, but she can be a good manager as well. So to see something like that, imagine you coming out with her as your manager, that'd be so cool to see at the Charlie Slam.
That would be a very cool thing. I think it's very cool, but you need to convince her, Keaton, because I don't think I can convince her at this moment.
And Wrestling Insider asks, wasn't Chris involved in the Royal Rumble? I know we talked about that there.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to be involved in the Royal Rumble. The guys up there were just amazing, and the event was something really unique. And just something really, really cool. It was, as I say, first of its kind in regards to a charity running sort of their own wrestling show, and it was phenomenal in regards to the CAW was the guys that trained a lot of the wrestlers that appeared on the evening, and they did a fantastic job. I think it's probably one of my wrestling highlights, to be honest, just because it was so cool.
And just let me get it. My dad asks, how many hours are you planning for this event to run? How many matches will there be?
Yeah. So the timings, as there isn't, not everything's been sort of nailed in stone. Things change all the time, but it'll be sort of a traditional. Apologies, I got a wee bit of cold at the moment. My throat keeps getting dried up. Take a wee drink. Hold on 2 seconds here, Keaton.
It's okay.
So, the idea is to have a traditional match card. So, roughly, I would say no more than 6 matches. 3 interval and then another 3. So that would probably take us up to, and then there will also be some element of a backstage meet and greet, vibe towards the end of the evening. So I would say that the event should end no later than about 9:30, 9:45, would be our guess, because as I say, this is a family friendly show. We'll expect 50% of the audience probably to be children. So you're very conscious the families want to get home and things like that. So it should be no more than 4 hours is loads of time. So including an interval and things like that. So 9:30 I would be imagining that it would be all wrapped up for.
And Wrestling Insider asks, will you have merch at the show?
Isn't something that we have explored at the moment. As I say, this is very much a fresh concept, and at the moment we're very limited in regards to things in regard of like credit facilities and stuff like that. So the only merch that will probably be on sale on the day would be merch that is generated from the wrestlers that are going to be appearing themselves. So there will be probably an area for that. We are exploring. We are exploring that at the moment. But in terms of merch from the show, we're just time limited in regards to getting that and stuff sorted, and there's another financial cost to it, and then also managing that and stuff in the day creates a lot of challenges. So this year, probably not for the event itself, but if the event is to move forward, that'll definitely be something that will be incorporated in years to come. The good thing is you don't want to reveal all your all the cards that you have in your first instance. You want to build and you want to generate more things as time goes on. So as our profile builds, so will also the things in which we offer. At the moment, we are specifically offering a family friendly, high standard professional wrestling show to raise money for a charity. And as the years come ahead, if the show is successful and the brand sort of builds itself, there will be the likes of the different types of merchandise and things that go along with the show. But at the moment, it'll probably be just for the merch that'll be available, and they will probably be just sold individually by the wrestlers themselves. So I know a lot of the guys have started to get their own merch and stuff, I guess, so would very much welcome that. Yeah.
And I know one of the comments back there was about doing a live stream. That would also be a very good way of getting funds for the hospice. If they're on a paid live stream, they could also get more funds.
No, it is very, and it's something that I actually had never thought about before. Because I say I'm not experienced in that area in regards to raising funds through live streams, something like that. So if that is something that we could achieve, definitely was something we explore. At the moment, time is limited in regards to what we can deliver, and I want to make sure that we get the basics right. Very much so that we get the fundamentals down to a T. You know yourself in wrestling training. The way to be a successful wrestler is to have the foundations, the fundamentals nailed down. It's the same in any other discipline. So event management, you want to make sure you get all the fundamentals and the foundational stuff nailed down first before you start exploring any more high profile or things like live streams or stuff like that. So, but it is something I'll explore. Hopefully, I can build a relationship with someone that is experienced in that sort of area. That would be fantastic, and that would be something I'd definitely welcome and look to explore in the future.
And your team as well. Your team seems pretty good. Obviously, Mitch Baxter, who's been promoting, helping out a lot of NAPW shows. He's a manager now, but he still helps out a lot with the technology and stuff. So he could probably help you with that as well. So was he
Yeah.
did. So you have seemed like you have a very good team there. Who else have you got in the team as well?
So as I say, at the moment, NIPW is they've very kindly agreed to be our ring provider for the day. So again, without them, without Nathan delivering the ring on the day, we'd be lost in that respect. So very kind, very generous, and without something like that. Offering that type of resource, the event wouldn't. The one thing you need for a wrestling show is to have a wrestling ring. So without that, we'd be pretty buggered, wouldn't we? The likes of I don't want to reveal too many guys because then that might compromise. They might not want you knowing how generous and kind they are. So all I can say is the team is very very generous and very kind, and the guys that know. The people who know who I'm talking about, they will know just how generous and kind they are. So I don't want to reveal too many names.
And I think on a match card, normally you would have maybe a title match and a tag team match as well. I know this is a charity show, so maybe there won't be any titles. So would you consider putting in any title matches?
So there is some fun stuff. Again, it is something that when you're developing these sort of types of shows, something that you do look at as I say, you don't want to reveal all your cards in the first stage of things. A championship is something that is being explored at the moment, and is looking to be in our future strategy. It is something that will be introduced in the future, if if the event is successful. So yeah, championship definitely. You can't have a culture night, for example. For me, one of the staple things of culture night was the professional wrestling that took place in the Cathedral Quarter, and even culture night. Whenever, as I say, as that brand started to grow, there was the culture night championship, in which was defended on an annual basis. Again, I make no bones about it. That is something that will be explored for future. Maybe not this year, because of funds, because of time, limited, etc., etc. However, there will be, with events like this, there is ways in which to honor people, ways in which to promote aspects of wrestling. Yourself, there is maybe cups or trophies or awards. I can confirm, I know I didn't necessarily say I was going to talk to you about this, but I can confirm that there will be some sort of recognition like that, and some way of honouring an aspect of professional wrestling, which we will be announcing in the coming weeks. I can't give too much away, but there will be some sort of award / trophy / cup, whatever what you want. There will be something like that, which will take place on an annual basis with the Charity Slam. Because you want to create your own bits of history, you want to create your own moments, and the way you do that is to create things that people want to compete for. So this aspect will be part and parcel a key component of the Charity Slam 2025, and will continue to be a staple part of Charity Slam moving forward. So we will be announcing that in the coming weeks. But yeah, be looking out for that, because it definitely will bring the slam.
Yeah, what a catchphrase there. Just you said there, bringing the slam, the charity
Mm.
slam. So, did it take you long to come up with that?
Um, it actually didn't. No, it was just the first. I laughed whenever I said the title, and then I was like, do you know what? Every cool sort of brand always has a cool wee catchphrase to go with it. Wrestling is synonymous with catchphrases. Are you not entertained was mine for a long time. But that, before that, then Gladiator used that. But um, so no, it wasn't something that took too long to think about. But I really like the idea of slam with charity because charity slam NI isn't just going to the charity slam is going to be like the staple wrestling event, but charity slam NI is all going to be about the slam aspect means impact, something that generates impact. So when you slam, you make noise, you generate that impact. So charity slam NI, the catchphrase of it is basically just generating positive impact, and raising money for local causes. So, slamming, whatever you do, whatever event to be, you make a slam for the community in which, you generate a positive impact. So there will be other events in the future that hopefully be involved in, that may be outside of wrestling, but in terms of the contribution from Charity Slam and I in regards to wrestling will be the staple annual event of Charity Slam.
Yeah, and that sounds like such a good show. You can't give for Slam 2025.
Sorry, you broke up a wee bit there, Keaton. Do you mind just saying that again?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I know you can't really give up too much confirmation, and we can't really reveal too much. But what
Yep.
should we expect for Charity Slam 2025?
Yeah. So as I say, a lot of announcements coming over the next couple of weeks. But what you can really expect is some excellent local talent delivering a high standard of professional wrestling. There will be competition for a particular Charity Slam Staple Award, and there might also be some surprises as well in store for the show. Really, what charity, if I was to kind of capture it in a bottle, Charity Slam is really a family friendly professional wrestling show, which is put in a local community for the local community, generating positive impact for local community causes. That's really it in a nutshell. It's local people within the local community putting on an event to raise money for a great local cause. And I don't think I could explain it any better than that. So there'll be some familiar faces, some new matchups that haven't taken place in the scene before. And I think just overall, if you are an experienced wrestling fan or someone that's new to professional wrestling, I think there's going to be something on the day for everyone. As well, we were talking. I have an exclusive announcement as well that wanted to share. I don't know. Did you receive that information earlier?
Yes, I did. I was the roster announcement.
Yes. Yes. So, do you want to announce that, or do you want me to announce that, Keaton?
You can announce it because I don't know the exact information.
Yeah. So, again, just like the past few days, we started off with an exclusive announcement that Tucker is going to be appearing at the Charity Slam. We then announced that hometown hero Stevie Fee. I mean, no Green Island based wrestling show is complete without the ultimate Smick, hometown hero. He's going to be appearing. But for our third announcement, we will be having a recently crowned NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion, Sage Valentine, is going to be appearing on the Charity Slam. So, for those that aren't aware, Sage Valentine, again, has been knocking out of the park up and down the Irish wrestling scene. Former member of the group Pure Filth, but now generating his own profile as an individual, and recently captured the NIPW or the NXG Junior Heavyweight Championship. So he's really been making a name for himself. So he will be appearing on the Charity Slam, and we're very excited to have him. He brings his own, just like Stevie, completely different type of style with him. and look and profile. And again, the event is about showcasing local talent. And when you talk about that pull, Charity Slam then wouldn't be complete without the likes of Sage Valentine.
Yeah, no, incredible. Sage Valentine, obviously quite new to wrestling, and he's came on so well. Now the current NXT Junior Heavyweight Champion. What a match he put on there in Malone Rugby Club. Incredible show as well. So Sage Valentine's a great asset to the show.
Yep.
I believe he's from Green Island as well.
He is not necessarily. He is based at times in Green Island, but he just comes from outside Green Island. So I think Stevie would have something to say about that. I think Stevie would definitely believe that he is the hometown hero, so he doesn't want Sage to be associated with that title. So I think for now, I think we'll just say he lives close to Green Island, but he's not based in Green Island as per se.
Yeah, well, it sounds like an awesome show. We'll have hometown heroes like the Ultimate Smix Stevie Fee.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have Northern Irish wrestling legends like Tucker, who's competed all around, even in WWE, a catch champion. So he's a great asset to it. And obviously Sage Valentine, the current NXT Junior Heavyweight Champion. So this show is built to be absolutely incredible. And who better to run it than entertainer Chris Mercer? He will surely entertain this show here. So we can't wait to see that. And I wish you all the best in doing it. I just want to get this comment in quickly from the 1 minute wrestler Jesse Jackhammer, who said hello. I want everyone to follow his YouTube channel. It gives all the greatest news announcements and stuff. So definitely recommend following that. And Canary Kid says he cannot wait for this.
Well, who knows? We say we've got a lot of roster announcements coming up over the next couple of weeks, so we'll see if Canary Kid or not has a role to play. It's very exciting times. The doors are open. Charity Slam, as they say, looking to showcase the best and the brightest of local talent. So, I mentioned earlier, Canary Kid is the future of professional wrestling on this island. So, who knows? You just have to wait and check out Charity Slam's social media, Keaton.
Yeah, it'll be incredible. And you have so much more of a roster announcement and so much more matches coming up. So we can't wait to see that in the near future. So the links are down there on Instagram. Follow Charlie Slam on Instagram, and then keep updated on Chris Mercer's Facebook as well. And you'll see all the latest announcements. And Canary Kid also follows it up with saying that he'll be buying a ticket ASAP to watch this amazing event.
I look forward to it.
And I'm sure a lot of people watching this here will be buying tickets to see this. I surely recommend to. Charlie Slam will be amazing to see.
Yep. You see, just on that, Keaton, so tickets for this event go on sale on Friday the 25th of April. Tickets will be via Eventbrite. All the details in regards to pricing, all that sort of stuff is going to come out in the next few weeks. Alongside that, we'll also be releasing a lot of promotional material in regards to likes of who our referees are going to be, who our announcers are going to be. We have a charity commissioner, because no show is complete without a commissioner to keep all the action very civilized and keep it in order and in the ring. So we have a commissioner that'll be present on the evening to make sure that people stay in their lanes. We have a lot of wrestlers. We also have things like our official photography partner that we're going to be releasing very, very soon. And then also as well, some of our raffle sponsors as well are going to be promoted on our social media. So there'll be a lot of exciting things to learn about in regards to Charity Slam. As I say, just search Charity Slam NI on Facebook, on Instagram, and that's where you'll find out all the information in the coming weeks.
Yeah, and if you need help with promoting it or any way that I can help, I'll help you promote it if you need any help with buying tickets or anything. I'll help in any way I can. Just let me know.
I really appreciate that, Keaton. As I say, from day one, you've been the OG. I don't think sometimes you realize just it's people like you that keep people like me wanting to be involved in the world of professional wrestling. So you're a credit to yourself. You've built up your own brand, and you're absolutely knocking it out of the park. And for someone your age, to be where you are at the moment is absolutely outstanding, and that has only been down to your tenacity and your just your motivation for life. So you are a real inspiration to me, and you're the reason why I do things that are really random, like create a charity wrestling show, because you are, and you always have been, one of the cool dudes in Northern Ireland. So you're very welcome.
And just want to get this comment in. It seems like a lot of our viewers really want Canary Kid in. Niall Brown says we want Canary Kid, so he really wants Canary Kid on the show. But you never know. Upcoming, could Canary Kid come on the show? You never know. You'll have to wait and see, and make sure to check out Charlie Slam NI. Make sure to look on Chris Mercer's Facebook. And you'll see it all. So make sure to stay updated, and definitely get your tickets for this one. This is a piece of history that people have got to see.
And as I say, the tickets are going to be a sellout, so don't wait around. It is going to be one of those events that may be one of a kind, but also may be here for many years to come. It all depends on this one massive show. But hopefully, fingers crossed as well. We're saying about we want Canary Kids. We want Canary Kid too. So maybe if if the dates align, maybe we can get him booked for the show. But we'll have to see on that.
And so before we go here, for the viewers watching, how can you get tickets for Charlie Slam?
Yep. So tickets go on sale the 25th of April via Eventbrite. So all you need to do is just search Charity Slam. But once the tickets go on sale, you'll also be able to go on to there'll be a link in the Facebook page. There'll be a link in Instagram bio, and we'll have a link, what's called a link tree, in which you can click on, and it'll take you directly to a wee tab that'll allow you to go directly onto Eventbrite if you can't go directly through Eventbrite. So there'll be various ways in which, but it'll go live on the 25th of April through Eventbrite, and all you need to do is just search Charity Slam, and you'll be able to find all the information and everything on that site.
Yeah, so get your tickets fast here. What a great show this is going to be, with the likes of just newly announced on this podcast, Sage Valentine, the NXT Junior Heavyweight Champion, Stevie V, hometown hero from the mighty G-Town, the Ultimate Smick, and Tucker, Northern Irish wrestling legend. And of course, it's run by the entertainer, Chris Mercer. So make sure to see that. Chris, I want to thank you very much for coming on to this show, especially at such a busy time when you're promoting this show. So thanks very much for coming on.
No, you're very welcome, and thank you so much for having me, Keaton. And I just ask you, can you feel the slam?
Yes, I'm sure everyone will feel the slam when it comes to this show.
100%. Sure, I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, take care.
So what a great interview that we had there with Chris Mercer. And make sure to get your tickets for that on Eventbrite. Thanks very much for watching, for all our viewers. And I just want to say what's coming up next on Kayfabe with Keaton. Up next on Kayfabe with Keaton, we'll have Tank the Beast Parker. You're probably familiar with him on our joint podcast with the NWF, where he's been on the NWF Forward a lot of the times. So it's coming up to Autism Month and we're going to be having him on the 20th of April. So it's going to be incredible to have him on, talking about wrestling with autism, and he's very open to share about that. So make sure to stay tuned for that one. Thanks very much for watching, and hopefully we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.